I know it's wrong. I know it's sinful. I know I'm gonna go to the bad place. Oh, bad timing, Judith! Hi, this is Cass from Aussie Cass Plays, and welcome back to the noble generation of my Medieval Legacy Challenge. So, it's the next day. Gabriel has gone to school. He'll be home soon, but Mira spent the night, probably hasn't gotten a lot of sleep, working on what she can do to stop her sister from coming in and harassing people. She still doesn't know that Penelope actually injured anybody, but I'm having her convert all of the garlic we had in the fridge into items, and I was going to put them around the house. Now, obviously, we know Penelope was not bothered by the garlic, but Mira does not. Have I got one in the kitchen? I do. Judith spent all day asleep too and has just woken up and gone to get herself a drink because she's got a bit of an upset stomach. So she's put one outside Gabriel's room. She'll probably put one outside Lord Lucas's room, and she would want to put one outside Judith's room as well. Obviously, that's going to be a problem for when Judith turns. So Gabriel's come home. I'm going to get him to take care of his needs, do a little bit of homework. Bartholomew wants to go talk to Gabriel, but I'm going to have him talk to Mira. I mean, she's figured this out anyway because she saw Penelope, but he's going to be like, she bit me. We were in the kitchen and she bit me. That is obviously a clue for Mira that the garlic didn't work because there was already garlic in the kitchen. So she's put garlic all over the rest of the house, next to all the sleeping quarters. He's going to talk to her through the fence, which, love that for him. But yeah, Judith's come out. She does have a bite wound on her neck. She just knows that she feels super hungry. So yeah, Gabriel's like, this happened, this woman, he wouldn't know who Penelope is, I don't think. She did come to the church before she got turned, but I don't know if the kids saw her. Probably they did. So he's like, look, I think it was your sister. She's a vampire. Unequivocally, this is what happened. I've been feeling terrible all day. She's like, okay, go take care of yourself. And she's desperately thinking, well, if the garlic in the kitchen didn't work, what do I do next? She's come in and confirmed. Bartholomew says it happened right here. So she's like, okay, well, what next? She's thinking, I could write to Jacob. He's religious. He might have ideas or be able to come and do something, some kind of prayer. I was actually thinking with Gabriel, I'd like to put him on one of the money aspirations. I don't view him as a greedy sim. Like having, which, is it both of these that give you, which one's the one that gives you the reward where you get money? Oh, that's a 10% rebate. This one is, I think, shares. So they get a direct deposit. I really like that idea. But having money in reserve is actually, like, he's going to have to work for it. This isn't going to be a one and done. Because as a noble, you have peasants whose money comes to you. And you could view that payment as, tithes or whatever. Mira is writing her letter. Jacob, send help. I don't know what to do. I'm going to have her go and talk to Bartholomew again. So she's going to come in here and share some ideas and then discuss her fears. Basically, she's giving the letter to Bartholomew. She's like, here, obviously your trip back got delayed, but, she's assuming Bartholomew is probably going to head back tomorrow. All right, we can get rid of this fear. That's good. I hate that fear. But he's got another idea. He also wouldn't want to talk about it in front of everyone. Maybe Gabriel, but Gabriel's very focused on his schoolwork right now. So he's like, look, there is that monastery. Why don't we go there? So she's like, hey, that's a great idea. She's like, well, we'll go tomorrow because it's late. He's like, we could go now. It is much later than I thought it was. I don't know when it got to 9 p.m. And obviously walking around at night. Terrible idea when there's a vampire potentially ready to come and bite you again. All right, they've arrived at the chapel. I expect Bartholomew's probably, I'll protect us, got his sword or whatever. She's probably got a pocket full. In fact, she does have a pocket full of garlic. She's got, 2 garlic cloves. Does that count as full? So she's going to come and do a respectful introduction to Mother Malia. I'll just show you guys this real quick. I downloaded this from the gallery, but I gave it a significant makeover to put it more in line with the style of the churches in this save. This lot was designed for Oasis Springs, so it had a lot of sandstone, Yellowstone and stuff. So church, dining hall, we've got a study nook, which I think would be where Mother Malia spends most of her time. And we have the convent's main rooms, and this is probably meant to be the mother's room, but I imagine, given that the other nun that is here at the moment is a Princess Emily Windenburg, who is now Sister Emily Windenburg, she's been demoted, I expect she's in this room because she is a princess. She's a member of the royal family, and the mother's probably actually having to sleep in here. So Mother Marley is like, what can I do for you? What's troubling you? Something has to be troubling you. You wouldn't be here at this time of night. Do a polite introduction. If you won't do a respectful one, I'm going to have him do a respectful introduction. She's, what? I found a lot of info on vampires on the computer. Why are we saying that? I mean, she cut straight to the chase. I like it. She thinks Malia is proper and polite, and she admires Mira. So that's good. They've kind of recognized each other as similar temperaments and things. Bartholomew is probably incredibly bored. I'm going to have him say hello. Can you see the vampire bite? No, he has got a high-collared shirt on. Now, he's like, this conversation's a bit boring, so I'm going to have him ask if he can use the facilities. Is there even one on this floor? God, could you imagine going to a church and having nowhere to pee? I'm going to have him come up here. He wouldn't be able to get to that one, so he'll have to go up there. But those two are chatting. Mira's basically saying, look, I've seen a vampire in the neighborhood. She's not going to say it's her sister because she doesn't want to bring that disrepute on her family. She's not even going to say that Bartholomew got bitten because, oh my gosh, how are they good friends already? Because they don't understand how vampirism works. He could be deemed to be evil because he got bitten. Now, he's encountered Sister Emily coming out of the bathroom and, he's being polite. And she's like, don't you recognize me? And he's like, no, I'm sorry. And she's like, we've met before, Bartholomew. And he's like, what? Wait, what? You know my name? She's like, when we were children, you and your brother came to the castle. He's apologizing and saying he didn't recognize her. She's feeling quite tense. She shouldn't be talking to him. Now, she's actually a young adult and he's a teen, but there's not actually a particularly large age gap between the two of them. Remember Princess Emily, I was debating as a wife for Gabriel. It's just there was a bit of an age gap there. I think he was a child, she was a teen. So maybe 3-ish years. He's 15 or 16 now and should be 18 or 19, but he's considered a young man in medieval times. So I'm also going to have a look. Okay, so she thinks he's fun. Same reaction Malia had. He's a very personable sim. He's developed an instant crush on her. It feels like love at first sight. Wise? Maybe, maybe not. Irresistible? Very much so. Now, I do have teen romance on MC Command Center set because I've used that in Not So Berry before. And it also means, teens can get married in this save and stuff as well. So I think I am going to have him attempt to flirt. Oh my gosh, these guys are getting on like a house on fire downstairs. But I'm going to have him attempt to flirt with her because he's overwhelmed by how beautiful she is. And remember, she's actually romantic. He learned that trait about her already. And she was sent here because she was getting a little bit too close and personal with the noble males in an inappropriate way. Confess attraction. I don't think I'll compliment her appearance. And she's like probably complaining about this sort of clothing compared to what she used to get, because she used to get to wear like beautiful luscious gowns and things. And yes, he's immediately smitten and he knows it's wrong. He 100% knows it's wrong. She's a nun. She's married to the Watcher. She's reciprocating the romance. Wow, it's cute. It would potentially get him executed. It's very cute. He wants to go ask Mira for advice, but given what he's thinking about, I'm going to say no. She's saying, she's here against her will. And he's like, that's terrible. That's so horrible that your family would do that to you, that they would commit you to this life. And I think Emily 100% agrees with him. She thinks he's cute. She doesn't want to be in the monastery, so she's seeing an opportunity to get out. The thing is that she would never be able to go back to her life as a princess. But I'm actually going to have these guys go home because it is really late. So he's coming down and she's like, oh, what have you been doing? And he's like, oh, I was studying. They have a lot of books here. And he knows her well enough to know that she'd believe that. So Lady Judith has had an upset stomach for the last couple of days. She's trying just to have some plain bread to see if that will make her feel any better, but it has not. Now, the conversation she had with Mother Mira, I expect Mira's talking about prayers and purity of heart and things like that. Not Mira. Malia's probably talking about, like I said, prayers and things. And Mira's thinking she wants something a bit more practical than that. And to be fair, this is the same advice Jacob would give. And like I've said to you guys before, the Watcher, being me, could in theory respond to a prayer, intervene and make it so it's not a problem, but I'm not going to. So it's not that the deity's not real, it's just I have another agenda. This is actually the real question. I think she's going to turn before she dies. I wasn't actually sure when I had Penelope turn her whether she would live long enough, because I've had that happen before where I tried to turn an elder and they died before they became a vampire. So she's attempting to eat again. She's like, I feel sick. I just need to eat something else to settle my stomach. She's probably feeling very confused and uncomfortable. It's not working out real well for her. Lucas, are you going to work? You are. Good work, bud. And Gabriel is off to school. Bartholomew is asleep, probably having romantic dreams about a certain princess. I'm just saying. He was meant to travel home today, but he actually told Mira he doesn't feel up to travelling yet. He still feels so weak. Mira has intervened with Lucas to say he's too unwell to travel because she feels terribly guilty that it was her sister that bit him. But he doesn't want to go home because he wants to see the princess again. I was going to have Bartholomew travel to near the nunnery or the monastery. What's the right word? Is a monastery for blokes? I think it is. I think monasteries are for monks, funnily enough. But she's actually in our neighbourhood. That's the water state up on the hill up there. He's on his way out. He's like, some fresh air will clear my head. I'll go for a walk. I think Marley is probably out doing errands and Emily has actually snuck out. So she started to leave and he's called out to her. I'm going to have them go here together. So yes, he's seen her and she's probably saying, I can't be seen with you. And that is a fae who would not rat out on us at all. So yeah, she's like, oh, I was hoping to see you again. And he's like, and I was hoping to see you. So I'm going to have him give her a heartfelt compliment. Become best friends. I think she'd push that because she's, like I said, she's got an agenda. I think she is attracted to him. Oh, they got a sentiment. I think he wants to kiss her, but I don't think he would do that first. I think he would maybe flirt with her and confess his attraction. He's like, I confess I haven't been able to get you out of my head, Emily. I know it's wrong. I know it's sinful. I know I'm going to go to the bad place. Oh, bad timing, Judith. Oh my gosh. Bad timing. I thought it wouldn't happen until later. I'm actually going to send her to bed. I will deal with her in a bit. All right, so before Judith rudely interrupted me, I was in the middle of something. He's telling her he can't get his mind off her. She's saying, I can't stop thinking about you either. He's talking about how they're going to go to hell. And she's like, I live in hell already. I need to get out of there. And he's, again, being indignant. And I think he's convincing himself she's not truly a bride of the Watcher because it was done against her will. So that is how he's rationalizing this situation. I'm going to have him attempt to kiss her. And we'll see how that goes. They're both having their very first kiss. I feel like this isn't Emily's first kiss. I think Emily maybe has a little bit more experience than Bartholomew. That's why she's in a nunnery. I feel like there was a bit of messing around with someone there shouldn't have been. I have some theories about who that could have been. There's some troublemaker goth stones out there, but she probably thought that she could convince her father to let her marry who she wanted to. It's unfortunate for her. She's just born in the wrong time. I'm going to have them have an intense kiss, but then she's going to leave because it is getting late and she knows if she's not back before the mother gets back from running her errands that she'll be caught. But she's also knowing full well that she's got this young man wrapped around her fingers. She thinks she can convince him to help her escape from the monastery. So she's going to head home. And he's probably full of all kinds of thoughts of things he would have liked to do in the animal shed with the nun. So he's trying to now, he's completely kind of forgotten about vampire problems. He's trying to figure out what to do next. And look look at what a good uncle he's being again. He's like talking about school and his studies, and they're discussing business. You know, these two blokes completely oblivious to everything else that's going on at the moment. Now, obviously we have another situation up here. I am going to get her up. She probably has a vampire form. So I'm just going to quickly go in and tidy all that up. All right, I've given Judith her makeover. What I've done, the dark form clothes and the regular clothes are all the same. In her dark form, the changes I've made are she has the vampire mouth. It's the same skin effect Penelope has, but it's only currently visible when she feeds because she's a very young vampire and she's too removed from Vlad instead of being a child of Vlad. So I figure it makes sense that it wouldn't be as strong yet. And her fangs are only visible in her dark form. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I put young skin details on her because she's not as bent and on the verge of death as she was. Her skin's plumped up and, you know, she's getting her youth back. So she's pretty happy about that. I mean, technically she is still an elder, so she's still going to have the creek back and all that. But I've adjusted certain things about her shape, you know, straightened her spine and stuff so that the hunch isn't as bad and that kind of thing. So Judith is getting changed. She's feeling reinvigorated, still tense, but that's because she's very thirsty. I'm going to spend her power points. Now, my usual go-tos are bat form and occult student. If you've ever seen me play with vampires before, you'll know I always click on that. But I'm thinking go for these two because they are the ones Penelope used and it makes sense. She wants to do something fun. She is not impressed that there's freaking garlic everywhere. I can tell you that for nothing. So I'm going to have her come out here. Oh, she can't put it in her inventory because she doesn't own it. Are you serious? I mean, I know Mira made it, but I don't know that she could feed. It is nighttime. It's also overcast, so she could go outside. She's like, just going out to get some air, Mira. Of course, now she's got this garlic thing on, but it's okay because she's walking away from it. So, is it raining? Oh, that's good. And Mira's got inside, not realizing anything happened to Judith because Judith never told anyone. I mean, Judith was sleeping a lot, but Judith is also a very lazy sim, so it's possible the Mira didn't twig. So we're scoping the neighborhood. She's got this sudden overwhelming urge. She probably also wants to take her new appearance for a spin. What I mean by that is she used to be a charmer. She used to be a lot like Princess Emily. She could wrap anyone around her fingers. So she wants to see if she's still got it. She's looked in the mirror, can't see her own reflection. She's feeling her face. Actually, you're not one of my Sims, which unfortunately means poor Galahad is about to get a rude surprise. So she's coming over to do a respectful introduction to Gabriel's best friend. Well, one of his best friends. I mean, his brother is probably his best friend. She's like, young knight. And he's like, I'm not a knight, I'm a squire. She needs to feed. So she's looking around. There's nobody anywhere near them. He doesn't feel threatened because he's training to be a knight. She's going to talk about the weather, except for Judith, that means complaining. I'm going to have her do something really bold that he should shut down because they don't know each other at all. So she's thinking that she's got it back. She's like, my face feels more beautiful than it ever has. But gosh, I'm hungry. And I'm hoping he's going to be like, whoa, lady, no. Yes, we're definitely not close enough for me to... No, that's not okay. He's like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. He's trying to walk away and she's basically jumping him. How dare you? And she's leapt on him and she's gonna... I mean, she'd drain him dry if she could. Obviously, vampires can't actually kill Sims without mods. But she'll feed until she's full. Luckily for him, she wasn't totally starving, so he's going to be left unconscious on the ground, but not dead. Yeah, she's like, dang, that was amazing. All that young man vitality in her system. That's an expression I never thought I'd say. So she's feeling great. She's going to head back to the house. I don't know that Bartholomew's going to full on confess, especially because Mira just walked in the room. But he's like, you know, Gabriel's asking how he's going, you know, how have you been feeling? Bartholomew's in a good mood. He's asking Gabriel, oh, you know, how are things going with the young princess? Because obviously Gabriel is looking to be betrothed to Princess Amy. And he's, of course, thinking of Emily and thinking, you know, I got the older, hotter one. I kissed a princess. princess today. My brother hasn't even kissed a princess. But I don't think he would tell him any of that. So he's just, you know, he's basically talking. He's got a flush in his cheeks. Gabriel's like, oh, you're looking better. Does that mean you're heading home? And he's like, oh no, I'm too sick. I can't. Tell him a dramatic story. And Judith's over here. Let's tease Gabriel. Ask about woohoo. You know, have you ever? Gabriel's like, of course not. I would never do that before I got married. So I'm actually going to wrap this part up here. I'm not planning on moving Bartholomew out yet. I think he's going to continue stringing Mira along and convincing her that he's too sick to travel. Because he came here on horseback. So, you know, you've got to be not having dizzy spells. You might fall off your horse and you kill yourself. He doesn't realise, you know, he's here with this situation. Like, if he knew, he'd probably be grabbing Gabriel and getting the heck out of Dodge. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please like and subscribe. You know the drill. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.